Hey there you guys. So again, I'm filming on my phone because I don't have time to edit or anything like that. But anyway, so there's a couple things I'm going to be addressing in this video. So one of them is I'm going to give you guys a little bookshelf tour of all of my unread books, and kind of that way you guys can know kind of what I have to read. And the other thing that I'm going to be talking about, and again, this is going to be kind of unedited, so it's going to be weird and probably a little bit longer than normal. I am going to be participating in Break Your TBR Apart, which is a readathon. The first round is this week. It starts tomorrow, January 27th. Right? Tomorrow's 27th? Sure. Tomorrow's 27th. It starts tomorrow, Monday, and goes till February 4th, which is next Sunday. So I probably might end up starting it today. I don't know. Good thing is this week I have quite a bit of time to read. Well, quite a bit of time. Not like crazy, but I have some time based on when I get off of work. And then, yeah, so because I'm crazy, I actually have 7 books on my TBR rather than the required 5. So anyway, so the first, and again, I'm going to be leaning down here to reach books, so I'm sorry about that. So the first challenge is to read a book that's been on your TBR for some time now. And for that, I'm going to be reading How to Love by Katie Contugo. This book has been on my TBR since I started my channel, basically. I bought this off of Book Outlet 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know how long ago. So this has been on my TBR for quite some time. It actually has a sequel now, so I want to be able to read this and get to this soon because I remember being super excited to read it, and now I haven't read it. So the second challenge is to read a short book or a book of short stories on your TBR. So for this, I'm going to be reading Red Badge of Courage by Stephen Crane. This book is only like 216 pages. So, and it's a classic, so it's kind of hitting my classic goal this year. And so I'm going to be reading this, and it's kind of bigger font especially, so it shouldn't take me too terribly long to get through this. So yeah. The third challenge is to read a first book in a series or a sequel that's on your TBR. I had a different book in mind for this originally, but then I realized it's not like, it's the 6th book in a series, so, but I went ahead and picked Perfect Lies by Kirsten White. This is the second in the duology to Mind Games, and I read Mind Games a year and a half ago. Still have yet to pick this up. I've had this book on my shelf for however long, and so reading this one, and again, it's a shorter book. It's only probably about 200 pages or so. 220, 230. So it's, again, a shorter book, so it shouldn't take me too terribly long to get through. The fourth challenge is to read a book or books over the course of 24 hours, and the goal is for it to all be on the 3rd of February, which is on Saturday. And so for this, the main book that I picked is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, which obviously you guys know, probably have heard of this book. It's a classic again. And this edition that I have is 114 pages. So I could probably pick this for the other challenge, but I wanted to pick a short book for the challenge to read in 24 hours in case I end up getting tied up with doing other things. If not, great. If I get to read more than one, great. And so the last challenge is to read 5 books. Now, because I'm insane, I actually have 3 more books here rather than just the one to read the 5 books total that we need to for the week. Because the readathon is only, I think it might be 7 days because it's Monday through Sunday. But so the first book is a 5th book in a series, and it is Emily Winsnap and the Land of the Midnight Sun. This series I read when I was younger, and I ended up getting this book a few years ago for Christmas because the series had just been ongoing, so I wanted to kind of finish the series, and long story short, it's about a girl who in the first book finds out she's a mermaid and lives in the mermaid world now. And so I wanted to read this book, and I just haven't. I've had this book for however long, and it's a middle grade novel, so it shouldn't take me too terribly long to get through it. And the next book that I have is a book that's been on my TBR for quite a time, even my currently reading TBR, and that is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I had picked this up, I believe, for booktubeathon, I think, was how long ago it was. And I have yet to read it. So I started it, I'm like 24 pages in, I'm like a couple chapters in, and I just haven't picked it up. So I want to be able to read this and finish it, and hopefully I stick to that. And then the last book that I have on my TBR is Once Upon a Time, Red's Untold Story, by Red's Untold Tale, by Wendy Tolvier. I got this book a few years ago, and it's a middle grade novel, so the font is pretty big, and the book is actually pretty short, really, like in terms of height. So it's not that, it's a thicker book, but it's got the black edges, so it's super cool. And so I want to be able to get to this, especially since I'm kind of getting back into Once Upon a Time. I want to be able to read this and, get there. So the other thing, basically that's it. Those are my 7 books that I plan to read this week. I have other books that I'm currently reading. I'm still currently reading Story Girl and things like that, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Next, we're going to go into what all of the books that I have on my TBR. My main thing for every month when I do my wrap up is I'm going to fill you guys in on okay, here's how many books I've read. If I've chosen to unhaul anything, I'm going to fill you in on that as well. And then how many more books I have on my TBR. Because as I unhaul as well, depending on books that I want to unhaul, I plan on unhauling a couple this month, but I don't know which ones yet. It will decrease my number quicker and quicker than just reading. So if I end up reading all of these, I will actually be crazy ahead of schedule for reading the 50 books that is my Goodreads goal for the year, which will make me really, really happy to be ahead of the game so that I don't feel as pressured to read as much, because I want to hit that 50 goal. If I go over it, fantastic, because that means that my TBR number will be under 75. So that'll be really, really exciting, especially as I unhaul as well. So that number will go down, and I would really, really love to be under 50 books by the time 2019 comes around. Like, that would make me so happy, because then I have the ability for myself to buy 25, 30 books. And that is something that, as long as I have that little leeway, I'll be able to buy and read and do all this stuff in the time manner that I want, and it'll make me feel so good about myself. So what I'm going to first show is all the books that are currently on my currently reading TBR, and then I'm going to walk you guys through what is all on my shelves behind me. I have 123 books that are still on my TBR. I have read 3 books this month. I have yet to unhaul anything, but yeah, so I'll fill you guys in on that in my next video when I do my wrap up and things like that. But the only 3 books that I still have on my currently reading TBR, there's actually one more, but I'll pull that out before I do my thing, because that's like the book I'm currently reading at work. So the first book is Story Girl by Ellen Montgomery. I'm 6 chapters into this, I want to say. I've read 5 chapters. I'm on chapter 6. I'm on page 39. So I'm kind of flying. I'm going through this. I have a feeling I'm going to end up skimming this one more than I wanted to, because it's not like Anne of Green Gables, where it was kind of just drawing my attention, but I still really want to read all of her books because I love Anne of Green Gables and I love her writing, so I want to be able to enjoy all of her novels. But I have a feeling that once I get further into it, I'll probably get more into it as well. The other book is still Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. Obviously, another small goal of mine is to read all the Harry Potter books this year. Don't know if that's going to happen, because these are kind of big, so the number won't go down as fast, and it'll probably take me a couple weeks based on time frame to be able to get through these. But anyway, that's another goal of mine, is to, because I am only a chapter into this one, so I kind of want to get through these a little bit faster. And then the other one is still Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I have yet to start this, but I kind of want to finish Story Girl before I start this one, because I'm kind of reading like a classic at a time at home, and so I want to be able to finish Story Girl and then get into this one. So anyway. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video real quick, and it's going to be really jagged and stuff, but then I'm going to go ahead and walk you through my TBR pile on my shelves. So, one moment. Okay, in an effort to make this kind of quick, I'm just going to freehand it rather than going through and moving my tripod and everything like that. So, first thing is I kind of left, in order to also make this quick, I left 95% of my Funko Pops on the shelves so that we can just kind of go through this. So the first thing that I have is my 2 other copies of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And then I have the entire whatever it's called, Gilded Joyce series by Jennifer Allison, who is actually a local author. Then I have Hans Christian Andersen, The Complete Fairy Tales, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, and then Everneath by Jodi Ashton, I want to say. And then I have the sequel, Everbound. I don't have the third in the trilogy. Then I have Jane Eyre by, I'm sorry, I'm looking at these really weird. I have 2 copies of Emma by Jane Austen. And then I have Persuasion and Sensibility by Jane Austen. And I have Of Poseidon and Of Trident by Anna Banks. Shadow and Bone and Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. Dream Factory is that pink one back there, by Heather Hepler and Brad Barkley. And then I have The Copper Gauntlet by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. Then a shelf down, I have Geektastic by Holly Black and Cecil Castellucci. Then I have The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And then Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. 2 copies of it, actually. One that's a UK edition. Then I have the 3rd volume of The Fade Out by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Then I have The Secret Garden by, I don't remember what her first name is. Then I have Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. Then I have the entire Selection trilogy. So I have The Selection, The Elite, and The One by Kiera Cass. Then I have the 1st and the 3rd novels of the Mortal Instruments series, City of Bones and City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. Then over here I have Reached by Ali Condi. Then I have Tempest by Julie Cross, Maze Runner and Scorch Trials by James Dashner, What Happened to Goodbye by Sarah Dessen, Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Then I have Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, which I have on my fictions shelf for a reason, because I just want to be able to read that soon. Then I have The Mother-Daughter Book Camp by Heather Vigel Frederick. Then I have 2 copies of Ruby Red by Kirsten Gier. Then down here it is getting a little bit darker. I have Sapphire Blue and Emerald Green by Kirsten Gier. Then I have The Lux and Envy and Rumors by Anna Goberson. Then I have Abundance of Catherines and Let It Snow, both which are written by John Green. Obviously, Let It Snow also includes a short story by Maureen Johnson and Lauren Miracle. Then I have The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins, and then I have 2 Robin Hobb novels, Assassin's Apprentice and Fool's Assassin. Then over here, it is getting really, really dark down here. I have Shadow Falls: The Beginning, which is the first 2 novels in the Shadow Falls series by C.C. Hunter. Then I have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey, Every Day by David Levithan, Great Tales of Horror by H.P. Lovecraft, Legend by Marie Lu, Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Maas. Then I have Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Then over in the corner where you can't see, I have Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and then Beauty and the Beast by Wendy Mass. Then we end up going up to the top again, where I have Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Ferris, and Winter, all by Marissa Meyer. Emily's Quest by Ellen Montgomery, Christmas with Anne and Other Holiday Stories by Ellen Montgomery, Pat of Silverbush by Ellen Montgomery, The 100 by Cass Morgan, Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill, The League of Regrettable Superheroes, and One Day by David Nichols. And then down a shelf, I have all my Harry Potter books with all the nice little spines. Obviously, you can see Goblet of Fire is missing. And then I have all my Harry Potter Funko Pops. Then down another shelf, we have Whisper by Alison Noel, Airborne by Kenneth Opel, and On the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, Life as We Knew It, The Dead and the Gone, The World We Live In by Susan Pfeiffer, Life After Theft by April Lynn Pike, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Then we have some Rick Riordan books that I'm behind on. We have The Hidden Oracle, The Dark Prophecy, the Camp Half-Blood confidential novel that goes along with these 2 books. Then we have Hammer of Thor, and then The Ship of the Dead, and then the Hotel Valhalla Guide to the Norse Worlds, And then, of course, Percy Jackson's Greek Heroes, which I have not finished. Through the Evernight, which is the sequel. J.K. Rowling's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the original screenplay. Fangirl, Landline by Rainbow Rowell. Zodiac by Romina Russell. The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. 100 Sideways Miles by Andrew Smith. We go down one more shelf to another very dark shelf. We have Dear John and a Bend in the Road by Nicholas Sparks. Sorry, I can't really read his name from here. A Mysterious Bennett Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. Rebel Mechanics by I cannot remember. Daughter and Smoke and Bone and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. Reboot. Then we have the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. And then over here we have, I do also have the first book, but then the second book is the Girl Who Fell Beneath Fairyland and Led the Rebels there. The first book is The Girl That Fell Beneath, or the something with the Ship of Her Own Creation, I can't remember. Then The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld, and of course, last novel is I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zusak. I'm going to go ahead and stop this real quick, and then I will go ahead and do a little outro for you. Alright, so instead of resetting up the tripod and everything like that, I'm just going to sit here and do this. Basically, that is it. I have 123 books on my shelf. I will go ahead and update you guys with what I'm unhauling and things like that. But yeah, I have 123 books to read by the end of 2018, and we are almost to the end of January, so we'll see what we're going to do with that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back next week with my wrap-up for January, and I might do a TBR for February. I'm not 100% sure yet. Keep me posted, guys, if you are participating with me. Join our Goodreads and our Twitter over for 0x19. And yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all with my next video. Goodbye!